Want to expand the reach of your content? Start a podcast. Feature industry experts on your show and leverage the influence and reach of your guests to grow your brand. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm James Carberry.
And I'm Jonathan Green.
Let's get into the show. Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. We are here today with Nigel Burmeister. He is the VP of Global Marketing at Limelight Networks. Nigel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks, James.
So I'm really excited to chat with you today, Nigel. We're going to be talking about content marketing, particularly as it relates, to what our audience cares about in that B2B context. And so before we jump into that and your kind of perspective on, really what does content marketing mean, I'd first like you to explain a little bit about Limelight Networks and what you and your team are up to over there.
Sure. Well, we're actually in the content business. We deliver content, specific types of content over the internet. So, we're seeing a lot more types of content distributed over the internet. Obviously, things like video, which is huge. Files of various types, people reading newspapers or magazines or delivering software over the internet, and then web content, traditional, retailers and so on and so forth. And so, very often the internet kind of gets congested like a roadway system. So you can think of what we do as kind of like a super highway, delivering those types of content with exceptional performance and quality.
I love it. So we've got a lot to cover today. So I'd love to just jump right in. As we were talking offline, you said that the first thing that listeners should understand is that content marketing, it has to be a part of a bigger strategy. And I think as you say that, it makes perfect sense, but I think the execution of that, I think a lot of times people just are doing it for content's sake. Like, we know we need to be doing this, so let's get something pushed out. So talk to us what you mean, about what you mean when you say that it needs to be part of a bigger strategy.
Yeah. Well, and maybe I should just, because I think content marketing means a lot of things to different people. And so, let me just start with what my understanding of the term is, and we can work from there. And that'll kind of elucidate why I think that's important. So for me, content marketing is really about creating and distributing valuable information to a specific audience. And there's a purpose that we do that, in the B2B space. And the goal ultimately is to convert prospects into customers and, create loyalty amongst existing customers. So, I think content marketers generally fall into maybe two categories. One is kind of the way you described it. This is something we have to do. It's one of the marketing checklists, and we got to get it done. Without paying much attention to the broader strategy. And the other one is, folks kind of like myself who really genuinely care about content and how it makes, a difference in people's businesses and people's lives. And both of those targets can kind of lose the forest for the trees to some extent. So content marketing is not just a task. It needs to be part of a broader, integrated marketing strategy. It has a goal, we have to understand who are we trying to reach with the strategy, how, what parts of the buyer journey is the content marketing assets that we're creating affecting? What are the pain points? How is it helping, that audience? So it's not an island. Content marketing is not an island. It needs to be part of this broader strategy with goals and, and defined audiences.
Okay. So this next piece, Nigel, you mentioned specific audience. You just alluded to it. How granular do you think brands need to get whenever they're thinking through, specific personas for who they're building these content campaigns for?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I think that, is determined by your strategy and the resources you have at your disposal. I think you can't go wrong starting off being very focused. So, quality definitely trumps quantity. And so, focus is important in everything we do. At Limelight have defined a very specific set of use cases, target verticals, and then buyers within those verticals. And we try and be cognizant of, what is that audience dealing with at any point in time. And, it's really interesting. One of the other things we talked about was value. How are we creating value for those buyer personas in the buyer journey? One of the things which, in the B2B world, we've seen a massive transformation in is the shift to, doing a lot of your research online. I mean, I'm sure you get the same amount of, marketing and sales pitches that I do, and you tend to just become jaded at those messages. And, so we kind of switch off, but we do, I see this in my kids as well. We prefer to do a lot of our research online. And in fact, most of that research is done before, we're going to reach out to a salesperson, or a vendor often for that matter. So, from the awareness stage through the research stage, through the consideration stage, the buying stage, what are we doing to help customers understand problems, understand solutions that are in the market, how to optimize those solutions, because most of marketing gets done towards the back end. Mostly what we're doing is comparing our solution to a competitor's solution or providing assets to help in the purchasing decision, ROI justifications and so on and so forth, whereas most of the work, that researchers do online is in the awareness and research phase. And that's really where, valuable content, useful content can make a big difference.
Got it. And so do you typically find that type of content is not as centric, so it's not centric around product or their specific service. It's more centric around kind of overarching problems that your particular persona is having, regardless of whether your service solves that problem or not?
Yeah, I think the most useful content in that phase is, not trying to necessarily push your product, but to educate the buyer. Start with a mindset of what's in it for them, not necessarily what's in it for you. You need to earn the right to talk about yourself, I think, to some extent. And so, things which we do, for instance, at Limelight is, so I mentioned, we're transferring a lot of content over the internet, and we do our own, primary research, not into our customers' experiences necessarily, but the customers of our customers. So think about, we don't sell to consumers, we sell to businesses who sell to consumers, but we do a lot of consumer research. What are audience behaviors for online video? How quickly before they abandon video, with it rebuffering, looking at websites, what's the tolerance for delay, and provide that kind of research, not trying to push a product or a solution, but just educating our customers on these are the pain points of your customers, and that's something which our customers find very valuable. That would be to kind of more of a marketing or digital experience audience. We have things for technical audience as well. One of the big market trends in our industry is people moving to online delivery of video. So traditional broadcasters, as well as a ton of entrepreneurs who are spinning up these over-the-top services. Many of them have no experience how to deliver that video, and we've been doing that for, a decade or more. And so just putting papers out there like, how do you spin up an OTT service is valuable to a technical audience. Again, not necessarily pushing your product, but talking about the whole workflow from start to finish, things which we sometimes don't even offer a solution to, but helping them understand, and it gives a framework for a discussion hopefully down the road.
That makes perfect sense. Nigel, what do you find to be the biggest challenge that either your customers or just, other senior marketers that, that they're trying to, content marketing has been, people have been talking about it for several years now. Are there still some hurdles that you see brands struggling to overcome when it relates to content marketing?
Well, I think one is, the constant desire to jump the gun and, before you've earned the trust to push the product. And many of us are very passionate about our products, about our service offerings in the market, we wouldn't be working where we're working. And so, we want to educate the buyer and, hey, we've got a great solution to solve this problem. So it's that over-eagerness, and we miss out on providing the value or providing usefulness at a specific point, meeting that customer where they are, not necessarily where we're coming from.
Yep.
So that would be one. I think the other one is, again, not really having a strategy. We're doing it for the sake of doing it just because, it's one of the things on the checklist. And so it doesn't get done very well. I mean, who are the target segments that you as a business are pursuing? And what does the buying cycle look like in those businesses, and what are the pain points, and do you have anything valuable or useful to say, at those points in the buying cycle? And that, again, gets into the focus. So writing without a specific audience in mind. Are you writing to a technical buyer, a technical decision maker, a marketing person? And do you have the right tone and content to engage, with that audience?
Yeah. No, Nigel, I love the strategy that you shared earlier about doing research on your customer's customer. And so you obviously sell to businesses, but the businesses that you're selling to sell to consumers. And so by you guys, doing the legwork of doing the research that they would have otherwise needed to do or probably ended up not doing, but they need those insights. So you've made yourself an extremely valuable piece of their equation. If they want to be successful, they should be leveraging the insights, the data that you're collecting from their customers. And so that's a strategic move that you guys said, okay, this is a type of content that we are going to create because it creates value for this very specific audience. So that one strategy alone, I think, can be used for a lot of the folks listening to this. The other pieces that you mentioned were also incredibly valuable. Before I let you go today, Nigel, you've touched on a lot of different things here that I think our audience is going to get a ton of value from. If there's somebody that wants to maybe learn more about Limelight and what you guys are doing over there, or they want to connect with you, maybe they want to dig deeper on one of the strategic pieces of advice that you gave, what's the best way for them to go about doing both of those things?
Yeah, sure. Always happy to, talk to folks, and I love talking to and learning from others too. So absolutely reach out to me. So you can check out what we're doing at Limelight at just limelight.com. And then, my email is a good way to get in touch with me. It's just nigel@llnw.com, or you can look me up on LinkedIn or Twitter.
Wonderful. Awesome, Nigel. Well, thank you so much again for your time today. This has been extremely valuable, so I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, James. Thank you.
To ensure that you never miss an episode of the B2B Growth Show, subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. This guarantees that every episode will get delivered directly to your device.
If you'd like to connect with B2B executives from all over the world, make sure to join our private Facebook community. There are some incredible conversations happening inside this group. To join, visit b2bgrowthshow.com/FB.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.